Hey everybody, and welcome back to the vlog. Today we're gonna do a video about the making of Cop Without, whoops, Cop Without a Badge, the book. Actually, it was $2. How many people can say that? So, um, I think the making a cop without a badge is absolutely remarkable. I first was introduced to a man by the name of David Black, who's a big Hollywood producer, writer. He created the TV series Miami Vice. I met him. He turned me on to this guy right over here, the author. I can't stand. I don't even want to mention his name. But anyway, he introduced me to that guy. Next thing you know it, I'm at the literary and theatrical agency of Fifi Artscard in Manhattan. Still in business today. Fifi, God bless her soul, she passed like 20 years ago. But so I get a meeting. I'm in Fifi Artscard's agency. I'm with a bunch of cops, and we pitched the story to Fifi. Fifi loved it. Next thing I know, bang, I got a deal with publisher Simon and Carolyn Graff, the first book, right? Carolyn Graff. As soon as I get the deal with Carolyn Graff, then Universal Pictures and NBC, they hear about it and they merge. So I have the book deal and the movie deal. Now let me tell you how Hollywood works when it comes to turning a book into a movie. Okay, all right. Number one, they got to first buy the rights to the book. Okay, so now when I say buy the rights, I should have said option the rights. So what they do is they option the book rights for an 18-month period so that they can develop the book into a screenplay. They're not making a movie about this. They're making a movie about that. Therein lies the problem. Kevin Moore's life story is not only complicated, there are so many stories that these. All right, so let me back up. So let me tell you the workings and how this works. So the studio back then were paying $500,000 for a screenwriter to read the book, to meet with me for a week, and then get a feel for who I am, and then write the screenplay. Then now sometimes that takes more than 18 months. So here's what an option is. An option is for 18 months. The studio holds the rights to the book. They pay you 10% of the purchase price, and they hold the rights to the book for 18 months. If at the end of the 18 months, they don't have the script ready, then they have the option in the contract, the standard option contract, to re-option it for another 18 months, which happened 2 or 3 times on all these options over the last 32 years. That's right. Cop Without a Badge, the movie has taken 32 years. I think that's a record. I'm pretty sure that's a record. Okay, so now at the end of so then the script gets done. They're not making a movie about this. All they want out of here is the title. Sometimes I felt like that's the only thing they really bought was the title, because every single one of the dozen scripts did not mirror my life or this book. So now when they get the script, now they already paid this guy, the screenwriter, all these screenwriters, $500,000, and then they have a one rewrite. They make them in their contract. They have one rewrite and something called a polish, and then that's it. So they've already spent $500,000 on this, and then they hired a producer, and then they probably spent like each one of them like between 1.5 and $2 million. So now, bingo, they get the script. Now, the screenwriters are all I can't stand them. I don't care if this is politically. I can't stand it. A couple of them said when I read their script, and meanwhile, I don't get the script. I don't get once they read it. Once they finish it, they send it up to the studio. Now the script goes to the studio. So the studio's got the script now, and they go before a board, just like a jury. All the executives of whatever studio. Now let me back up again. I'm sorry. Let's talk about what a studio is. A studio doesn't make movies. Studios finance movies, and studios release the movies and promote the movies. The studio gives a bunch of money to a producer. He's the boss. He charges. So the studio is only the bank, but they're the most important one because they're the one with the money. So after they get the script, then all these jurors, right, it gets passed around, and they decide whether or not they're gonna greenlight it or pass. And they've always passed. A dozen times over 32 years they passed. Now I can honestly say that they never passed on any script that mirrored Kevin Moore's life. None of them. There were always some rendition of some writer just taking the easy way out and making up stories like in the 90s, like Lethal Weapon, Die Hard. So they were copying what was hot at the box office at that time, which it didn't mirror my life one bit. It didn't. And I'll say this: truth is stranger than fiction. I can tell you that right now. So it would be more work for the writers to copy the book, not copy it, but anyway. So a dozen times over 32 years, cop without a badge, all of these scripts that they were given, none of them were mine. So I can honestly say that to date, my life story has never been rejected. Never, never, never. Until this guy, Rob Wood, I love this guy. This guy was able to put several stories, true story, everything about this script that now went to the studio, everything about this script is real. He was able to, what he did was, I just see this movie as being really big. So I also believe now that I don't think any movie, like there was one movie, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, the rights to that, it was a book, to that book was bought by Kirk Douglas in 1959. In 1969, they went 10 years, they peddled it to every studio, everybody turned it down. Then Michael Douglas got it. And then he wound up getting it made. I think it came out in 1973. So that's like 14 years. I got that topped by 2 times. 32 years this has been going on. 32 years. A dozen studio and production companies. And some of the biggest. Dick Wolf. I can go. Universal, MGM, Paramount, Sony Pictures, Sony Television. I can keep going and going and going. All the ones that had the interest, and then they gave it to some stupid screenwriter, and they wrote it, and then my book in life was judged on their made-up story. This is not made up, and holy crap! Now I can't wait to see what's happening next. The director that they have in mind is a big director who's worked with, who directed Will Smith in some of his action movies. So now everything is going. If the studio, now I don't know, I had this for about a week. It took me to read it and going back and forth working with Rob to get the script done right. He did it done right. I just put my 2 cents in about little stuff, I couldn't correct anything because the guy's a genius. He was, I don't know how he did it. But, 32 years in the making. I was starting to believe at 71. I know it's hard to believe I look this good at that age, but I am. At 71, I never thought I was ever going to see this movie made. I always knew I always had the confidence. I always knew eventually somebody's going to make it. And how did that happen? This YouTube channel. Because I believe that the studio owner, his best friend, his second cousin was in one of my stories in this book. Yeah, what a small world. That's Rich. Thank you, Rich, for bugging. He said, the studio owner said, yeah. I said, how did you hear about me? He said, yeah, my best friend here, he kept telling me, you got to make a movie out of this book. And he was bugged for 6 months, and then finally he read it, and he was like, oh shit, get me the rights. And I thank you, Mr. Studio Executive. I'm not going to mention your name, but thank you. And now it's the waiting game. Okay, I hope that this was interesting on how the movie process works. And see you on the next one.